Yo, what is up people, it is Fur here. Now today I'm going to be talking about like what the Marines may have in store for the future and like what they potentially might do, after Fuji breaks the whole system. Okay, now during the 2-year time skip there were 2 big major changes that happened in the new world, and that was, one of them was Blackbeard becoming a Yonko, and that was later explained by Inuarashi that it was because he took all of Whitebeard's territories and defeated Marco during the Payback War. It was then he was acknowledged as one of the Yonkos. Now the other thing which people like undermine or overlook in the community is that Akainu moved the Navy HQ to the New World and issued the World Military Draft. And I feel like after Akainu saw like what one Yonko did to Marineford, like just Whitebeard just coming there and like wrecking shit, he probably thought to himself like, we have to step our game up. And that's why Jinbei said that the Marines are a way stronger force right now. And it's not just because of the Admirals, because Jinbei said the government gave the Marines some kind of like new power. Now I'm not sure what that power is. It could be the World Military Draft, or it could be like something different. Now the thing with the military draft is that a lot of people just think it's Fujitora and Green Bull that were drafted, but it's actually like thousands and thousands of people that were like drafted in the ranks of the Marines. So we might see way more Vice Admirals and captains, maybe people on Kobe's level. We might see more of those, because the Marines, they have a lot of things to deal with. Like for Yonkos, there's too many dudes out there, and they need all the power they need. But obviously Fujitora and Green Bull were the strongest out of those drafted, and I doubt that these two were the only strong ones. Out of the thousands of people that were drafted, Fujitora and Green Bull were like the only strong ones. I really doubt that. Which brings me to the 2 new Vice Admirals Oda introduced in an SBS. Now they're called Momosugi and Chanton. You probably heard about them. Now these 2 were considered to become one of the new admirals, just like Fuji and Green Bull. But Fuji and Green Bull were like the strongest and the best for the admiral position. So basically they were like stronger candidates overall, in justice, leadership, and all that. And just like the admirals, they also have code names: Peach Rabbit for Chanton and like Brown Pig for Chanton. Now they're not canon or anything, they only appeared in Film Gold, but I wouldn't be surprised if Oda does make them canon at some point in the story. Now the reason I say that is because Oda showed Luffy's gear second in the movie before actually showing it in the anime. So we might see like these new admirals, these new Vice Admirals in the movie before Oda actually makes them canon. And I personally think that these guys are like around Yonko commander level, since they said like, yo, the Navy, they gained a lot of power during the 2-year time skip. So I'm expecting some top tier Vice Admirals to show up at some point in the story. I mean, we've seen Virgo, and Virgo was a beast. And looking from Akainu's perspective with his whole absolute justice, he's gonna need all the man force he needs if he's actually trying to like, stop the age of pirates and everything. And this is something I can definitely see Akainu doing. Now this is all speculation and the theory I personally thought of, but now that Fuji is trying to take down the Shichibukai system and break the great balance, the world government is gonna need a power to replace that loss. Now Oda bases the animals of the admirals off of the 12 Chinese zodiac signs. He's used like 5 of them right now. So I think we have the dog, which is Akainu, the bull, which is Green Bull, the pheasant, which is Aokiji, the monkey, which is KIZARU, and the tiger, which is Fujitora. And these are like the admirals we know as of right now. What if he introduces 5 more people from the military draft that were also considered for the admiral position, just like Momosugi and Chanton, and all of them together would just be this new force that the Marines created to replace that power. They would also have the same numbers of individuals, just like this Shichibukai did, because there's 7 animals left on the Chinese zodiac that Oda hasn't used. So he's gonna base the other 7 animals to these new characters, including Momosagi and Chanton, which are animals that are on the Chinese zodiac. And that would just make sense if Oda plans on using all the animals for special Marines, and it would fit the theme of how the previous warlords had animals theme. So these set of new individuals will also have an animal theme as well. This would be perfect for the Marines, because this is not only a powerful force that consists of 7 insanely strong Vice Admirals, but a power they have complete control and authority over. So there's not going to be a case of a Shichibukai not helping, because during Marineford, the war, most of the Shichibukai were not actually helping the Marines take down the Whitebeard pirates. Some of them had ulterior motives. We saw that Hancock was helping Luffy. We had Blackbeard, doing his thing at Impel Down. The warlords are just too shady for the Marines to trust at this point. But in this case, it's all Marines, so they can concentrate all their power with no delays and setback that the Shichibukai gave them. So you can consider these guys like some sort of like lower version of the Admirals, like a A-, all around that Yonko commander level. And I think the warlords right now, they're about Yonko commander level, with the exception of Mihawk, because I think he's on a tier in his own. He's just slightly above a Yonko commander level. And this would definitely give hype to the so-called trash Vice Admiral level, because Vice Admirals seemingly get one shot every time they get introduced, and are often used as hype tools in One Piece. It would be hype to have some strong Vice Admirals in the series. I mean, granted, we haven't seen like Manga, Onigimo, all these guys, they have some decent feats, but nothing's too impressive. And these new Vice Admirals, all of them will have their own color and animals that goes along with their respective personalities, just like the Admirals, but they operate like in a whole different section of the Navy. But that's one way I can see Akainu having a backup for Fuji's plan to take down the warlord system. So in the end of the day, it's a win-win for the Marines. They lose these pirates that are, doing some shady stuff in the corner, in the dark, and they would be capable of maintaining that, great balance by themselves alone. Like, they would become so strong that they don't need the Shichibukai anymore, because they have the power on their own to rival that of the Yonkos. So I can definitely see that transpiring, possibly within the Navy at some point in the story, especially that the Reverie is coming up. So Fuji, I don't know, someone is eventually going to bring up the question in the Reverie, and they might just go through with the plan. Then we have the new Pacifistas we haven't seen yet. Now the ones Luffy beat in the Sabaody after the time skip were the old versions, and there's apparently new and more powerful versions of the Pacifista, updated versions. Now Brago made a whole theory about that. I'll put the link in the description, but he says that they could have possibly merged Akainu and Aokiji's devil fruits within the new Pacifista, because before they had Kizaru's devil fruit, now they might have Aokiji and Akainu's devil fruit. Or maybe they can possibly even have multiple devil fruits abilities, since they aren't technically humans but like cyborgs, and they could be on like a whole different levels than the old ones. I don't think Luffy just one-shotting one of the new Pacifista, because they might be reinforced with some type of special metal or like sea stone. And I personally have a theory where the new Pacifista might be something like the Sentinels and X-Men, whereas whatever you dish out, they use the perfect counter against that. So for example, if you dish out like a fire attack or like a heat-based attack, they do water to counter that. And obviously I think they would be also equipped with some type of sea stone shield or sea stone armor to like bullets or cannons to like nerf devil fruit users, because these new Pacifistas have to be on some next level, because they're dealing with new world pirates. So I definitely feel like they're gonna have more functions other than just shooting lasers from their hands, because the pre-time skip versions, man, they were kind of dull. The only thing they had that was pretty good was Kizaru's destructive capabilities. Apart from that, they were just really tanky, and like they could just output so much damage out there. And who knows what other weapons Vegapunk has developed over the 2 years for the Navy. He might have done some craziest things with the Pacifista and Kuma, given that he has all the resources and money to. But yeah, I'm definitely hyped for what the Marines have in plan for the future. If there's one thing I like about this generation of Marines, is that they don't just take shit and ignore it. I feel like Sengoku and Garp just went along with what the Gorosei were saying. They never try to disobey the orders of the Gorosei. But we have Akainu throwing shades at the Gorosei. Animals of this era, like, they have more personality and they're more dominant in a way. Fuji is trying to he has some issues with the government. He's trying to take down one of the great powers, you know, a system that was created by the world government. And I bet you Green Bull became an admiral to progress his agenda as well, just like Fuji. This era of like admirals, they're more like troublemakers within the Marines. So I wouldn't be surprised if the world government and the Navy has some kind of clash, you know, later down the road. You know, Akainu may disagree with some things the Goro say down the road, and I can see that happening, because I mean right now he's just kind of like taking it in, you know, he's chilling right now. But I think at some point, man, his anger is just gonna explode, and he's like, yo, I'm not gonna take orders from you guys anymore. We might get to see a split in the Marines. You know, the world government splits away from the Navy, and they become two separate entities. I mean, not entirely separate, but Akainu might, you know, pull some shit off like that, because I think that man, he has a lot planned for the future. But yeah, man, there's a lot of hype. The Reverie, I'm definitely waiting on the Reverie. But it is all, people. Like the video if you liked it. It is Pharaoh, and I will see you guys later. Peace.